A popular language learning app, Duolingo, knows the secret to learning foreign languages. The more afraid you are of looking stupid speaking a foreign language, the less likely you are to learn a foreign language. That was my problem. 4 years of high school French, I know nothing. Duolingo has tried to use technology to pair people up with native speakers to help them learn, but some people are still afraid to talk to other people, even strangers. But you know who people are not afraid to talk to? Robots. So Duolingo is using chatbots to overcome our fear of speaking to other people in a language we're still learning. Ian, I'm guessing you know more than one language. Is that true?
I can just about get by in French. That's thanks to 7 years of learning it at school. And I've been using Duolingo to try and improve my Spanish, because I do think it's important. You should speak Spanish when you when you can, or rather learn American Spanish as opposed to classical Spanish, put it that way. But it is another language I'd like to learn, and it's amazing. A lot of people I know are using Duolingo for just this sort of thing. It seems to have hit a real sweet spot. And the more languages we can learn, the better. Until we get proper machine language translation, in which case there'll never be the need to learn another language again, as long as you've got a computer and a smartphone with you. But, you know, I think it's important to learn new languages. I mean, you can't really appreciate, it's often said that you can't appreciate foreign literature until you read it in the language it was written in. So anything to get more people learning more languages, that sounds good to me.
Mm-hmm. So do you do it 20 minutes a day, like they say?
I would like to say I do. I'll leave it at that.
Yeah,
I think it's particularly important for younger people, because there's a considerable body of research that shows if you can start children when they're sort of at a very young age have an astonishing ability to learn new languages. And it tails off once they start becoming teenagers. So if we can get more kids doing this, you could, really beef up not only sort of beef up their future employment prospects, but also open them up to an entirely new culture that way. So I mean, it's incredibly important to get kids when they're young, and maybe just instead of go do your homework, go and learn your language. I mean, it would not be such a bad thing.
Yeah, I mean, all three of my kids take Spanish, and they're 11 and 13. It's not high school Spanish yet, but, and they learn history in Spanish. Like, it's sort of an immersive, which I think helps a little. But I find that my shyer of my three children, it's harder for them. I won't, say which one it is to learn. But, those of my children that are like freely, will talk to strangers all the time, like they are learning it faster because they'll just try and, are not afraid of making a mistake. So I think Duolingo is really onto something with these chatbots, that it's just, you're not really talking to a person, you're just trying it out. And they have, you can't send in the chat, you can't send words that aren't words. So like if you type something that's not actually a word in that language, it just won't even let you send it. So I think that that's a good use of technology in this sense.
Oh, yeah.
But I do wonder if, you talk about machine learning and translations, I do wonder if that is really, if there's something else going on here for Duolingo, if they're collecting, not the information from certain people, but just how people learn languages, how it's translated, that sort of thing.
That could be really interesting data, yes. I mean, if you could actually apply that in. And I do think it's an interesting idea that people don't speak these languages because they're afraid of making fools of themselves. I mean, nobody wants to. I mean, it can work the other way in real life. I always advise people, if they're going somewhere like France, and particularly in France, in the case of France, just to learn enough just to sort of try and initiate a conversation in French, and your accent will be so bad that the French, if they speak English at all, will immediately jump in to stop you from butchering their language. But I mean, in terms of when you're trying it with other people, enormous embarrassment factor. I mean, I don't try and speak Spanish to people just in case I say something like "your head is like a cauliflower" or something, or insult their wife or something. It's a potential minefield of cultural miscommunication.